Hi everyone, welcome to today's info session where we're talking about the Graduate Certificate in Executive Coaching program that we have here at William James College. My name is Sarah Johansson and I'm your host for today's webinar. I work in the marketing department here at William James, so I'll talk a little bit about the college in general, go over a few housekeeping items, and then we can get into our main presentation for today. So if you go to the next slide. So today you'll be hearing from me, of course. We also have Suzanne Boulos, who is the director of the executive coaching program. So she'll talk a lot about what you can expect from the program, the faculty, the things you'll cover, and be available to answer any questions. And then we also have Julia Ogden, who is the admissions counselor, who will speak a little bit at the end about the admissions process and next steps if you're interested in applying. So if we go to the next slide now, a little bit about William James College. You can see our campus building here on the slide. We are located in Newton, Massachusetts. So on the map there, you can see it's a little bit outside of Boston. This puts us in a great location for our students to get to campus when they need to. So whether that's for class, for residency, to stop in and use a library or meet with a faculty member, it's really easily accessible. But even more so, it puts us in a great location to have a lot of connections with local organizations and businesses, even school districts, and lots of places where students can get that hands-on learning experience, work in the field, and collaborate with professionals in the field throughout their program. That's something we really highlight here at William James. So on the next slide, I just like to show this, which is our list of all of our departments and programs that we offer here at William James. This is one of my favorite slides to show because it really highlights how much we as an institution are focused on the fields of psychology, counseling, leadership, behavioral health in general. So if you come to William James, you'll be surrounded by a community of faculty, peers, even staff members who are really passionate about these topics, really looking to make a difference in our communities. We don't have an English department or history department. Psychology is all that we do here. So I think that's something that's really unique about our program. The leadership, or the organization and leadership department in the center of the slide, you can see is where our executive coaching certificate lives. But I just want to highlight, we have a bunch of other programs at the graduate level, as well as a bachelor's completion program. So there is a wide variety of expertise here at William James. And then on the next slide, I want to highlight our core values. I alluded to this a little bit already, but the last one there, experiential education. This is something that we really prioritize in all of our programs. We want our students to get that hands-on experience and work directly in the field and with clients throughout the program so that you are better prepared to further your career and get that real immersive experience while you're a student here. Also, we have there on the left side of the slide, personal growth. This is something, again, that we prioritize for all of our programs that you saw on the previous slide. You're coming back to school, you're looking for that certificate, that training, education, but beyond that professional growth, you also will grow personally while you're with us. We have a lot of opportunities to connect with our community. We have a Dean of Students office that offers a lot of programming. You'll really interact with your cohort and your faculty members. So you really won't go in the same person that you'll come out of the program as. And lastly there, social responsibility. Again, this is something really, really important to us as an institution as a whole. We really want to make a difference in our communities. There is a great need for, culturally responsive, highly trained professionals in the field who are ready to make that difference and meet the different needs that exist in organizations, in the community. So this is something that you'll see throughout the entire program as well. And lastly, as a student at William James, you'll again be surrounded by this community that has a commitment to diversity, inclusion, social justice, and intercultural understanding. This is something you'll see through all of your courses, the curricula, You'll see it, you know, in the events that we host on campus and virtually. There's a lot of opportunity, again, to connect with the community and really learn and educate on these topics as well. So on the next slide here, I just want to go over a few housekeeping items, as I mentioned. So this is a live info session, of course, and we want to make sure that you get all of the information that you need about the program, about the college. So at any point throughout the presentation, don't hesitate to submit any questions that you have into the question box. There'll be a few opportunities for us to get those answered for you. And then all the slides that you're seeing here today, you can download in the handout section. So you can have all of that program information. There's some contact info at the end. So I definitely encourage everyone to take a moment to do that if you'd like to. So before I turn things over to Suzanne, I will launch this poll for everyone who's joined us today to let us know what draws you to an executive coaching program. You know, this will just give us a better sense of who's joined us in the audience today and can help us, you know, shape the presentation towards what information would be most relevant based on who's tuning in. Okay, so it looks like a 60-40 split between adding skills and transitioning to a new career. These are both very popular you know, backgrounds for people who join this program, so that's not surprising to see. And of course, thank you all for joining us and taking this next 45 minutes or so to learn more about executive coaching and our program. So I think on the next slide, I will now turn things over to Suzanne.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Hello, everyone, and welcome, and thank you for your interest in the Graduate Certificate in Executive Coaching. We call it GSEC because, as you notice, it's a little hard to say, at William James College, and for spending some time with us today. As Sarah said, I'm Suzanne, and I'm the director of the Executive Coaching Program. I'm also a member of the faculty, and like the rest of the faculty, I'm a practicing executive coach. So I have my own coaching practice. I work with clients to help them make change, develop new skills and behaviors, and to become more effective leaders. So like me, executive coaches come from a variety of backgrounds. My background is in management consulting with over 25 years working with strategic planning firms and independently, Fortune 500 companies, for nonprofit organizations, and also with entrepreneurs. I've worked in a variety of industries, several continents, and I'm particularly interested in culture and cross-cultural situations. I'm also a graduate of the GSEC program. So some years ago, when coaching seemed to be taking an increasingly important role in my consulting practice, and I realized this was the direction I really wanted to pursue. Some things, you know, maybe that might sound familiar to some of you. I did some research into coaching programs, and the reason I chose William James College, it was then MSPP, the Massachusetts School of Professional Psychology. They're the same reason, really, I'm so proud to be leading this executive coaching program today. So on the next slide, you'll see a little bit why our program is so unique and different. William James offers the only accredited graduate school program in executive coaching in New England. And when you think of a coaching program, there are academic programs that have education and training, and there are commercial providers that offer primarily training around one model. So we're the academic type programs. So that means it's a graduate level program that combines theory and practice of coaching. It's academically rigorous, but it's also very practical because we give our students ongoing coaching practice throughout the program, even at orientation when they enter the program. They have opportunities to coach each other, to have informal clients. And a unique feature of our program is that our students have full executive coaching engagement that's supervised in our coaching practicums, where our students will have a client they are working with. I'll tell you more about the practicum a bit later. We're very proud of it, and that's also one of our one way that we are engaged in the community. So our program is a blend of theory and practice. As I said, some programs shouldn't just get practice and learn coaching skills, but here we feel the theoretical framework is as important as the practical part. So students will learn about psychological frameworks, how to apply them to the coaching process. Those frameworks have been known and researched for years, and we help our students translate those to the actual practice of coaching. They also learn about the latest research in coaching. That's constantly happening, and we work with that to see how it is applicable into a coaching practice. And the other thing that's really important for us is we do not follow one model of coaching. We do not say this is the way to do it. We introduce you to a variety of models and frameworks and help you develop the best way that works for you. The next slide tells you a little bit about our program, how it's structured. It's an 8-month program running from August to April with 15 graduate academic credits. It is approved by the International Coach Federation. It consists of 5 courses that build on each other. One of those is that practicum. And we follow a collaborative cohort training model where students start together and end together. So our program delivery is a blended learning model. And what that means is that we have, over the 8 months, 8 required weekends on campus. So our program is really local or regional, and if it's further away for you, you would have to fly in for the weekends. The weekends actually happen on campus at William James that Sarah described so nicely a few minutes ago. So, and in between those weekends, the classroom is online. We use Canvas, some of you may be familiar with that. And we have weekly modules, which include online lectures, readings, videos, recordings, some live webinars, and then, forum of threaded discussions. And this way our students are engaged with each other beyond those monthly weekends. And they're also fully engaged with the instructors as well. This is very, very important to us. We work very closely with our students, and we believe that support is essential. And also our students establish very close relationships with their peers, and those relationships deepen as the program unfolds. And typically we've seen beyond the program. So on the next slide, we have a description of what is executive coaching. So probably most of you know that. I'll just go quickly through this definition that we like to think about. We think that way about it in our program. So executive coaching is experiential and individualized. And in that sense, it's not a training program, right, for a leader. It's a development process that builds a leader's capability to achieve short and long-term organizational goals. So there is a focus on the leader and the organization as well. It's conducted one-on-one between the leader and the coach, and it's driven by data from multiple perspectives. That's where assessments and 360 feedback or stakeholder feedback comes in. And of course, it's based on mutual trust and respect, that relationship between the coach and the client. So really, the organization, the executive, and the executive coach work in partnership to achieve maximum impact. So executive coaches understand organizations, but also use their interpersonal skills to build trust and respect. That's so important for the coaching relationship. So our students are, when they leave the program, are fully equipped to conduct such engagements. We can look quickly at those coaching competencies. We in our program, we develop working knowledge and skills in core competencies, both of the, as defined by the International Coach Federation, but also for the Executive Coaching Forum, which takes it a step further. And also we follow some of the standards, most of the standards of the Graduate School Alliance of coaching, academic institutions that offer coaching. So if you want to look quickly at the clusters of the ICF competencies, setting the foundation, for example, includes ethics, right, and professional standards, and establishing an agreement. Co-creating the relationship will include establishing that trust, and maintaining, coaching presence. We work a lot with coaching presence in our program. Communicating effectively would include the skills, really, active listening, powerful questions, being able to be direct when needed. And finally, facilitated learning and results, anything from creating awareness to designing action, planning, goal setting, managing the whole process, and accountability. So our courses will also take this further and look at the competencies of the Executive Coaching Forum, as listed there. You can see on the slide, organizational knowledge, psychological knowledge, business acumen, and personal attributes that serve as foundations for these competencies. So our students will really work on all of that during the program. On the next slide, I think you will see something about opportunities. Executive coaching is a growing career field where professionals with diverse backgrounds find new and exciting opportunity, whether as external coaches or coaches operating within organizations. In fact, we're seeing an interest in both, people who would like to start their practice and others who want to add skills to what they are doing already. And according to the conference board, many companies are planning to increase internal coaching in the next few years. And if you look at what we have been through the past few years and even before, the workplace has changed and leaders face a multitude of new challenges, and they have to operate in a turbulent environment. And that environment, you may be familiar with that word, sometimes referred to as VUCA, which means it's an environment that's volatile. There's rapid change, constant change. The information is not clear. There's the multiplicity of variables and unknown. It's ambiguous. And so with a lack of clarity, so leaders really need new skills and behaviors to manage these new drivers out there. And executive coaches really help them navigate and be successful in this changing environment. And then on the next slide. Oh, any questions? Be happy to.
Great, so this is our first of a few question slides. So if anyone has any questions so far on the slides that Suzanne has talked about, feel free to submit those now. We have one here for you, Suzanne, asking if there's any particular background or qualifications, prerequisites that someone needs to apply for this program.
Sure, thank you for the question. Julia will talk a little bit later about the admission part of this, but basically we require that you have at least 5 years of experience after college. And in terms of which industry background, it really doesn't matter so much. As I mentioned, executive coaches come from a variety of background. We've had people, and that what makes the the diversity in our classroom. So there aren't really no specific backgrounds that we look for.
Okay, great. And we got another question here asking what the 5 courses are in the program. I believe those are coming up on future slides.
Yes, yeah, we will be. I'll be going through those in a minute. So be patient with me. I'll be addressing that very soon.
Okay, great. Those are the questions we've had submitted so far. As I mentioned, there'll be a few more of these slides, so don't feel like you have to get all your questions in right now. So I will turn things back over to you, Suzanne.
Sure, we'll answer questions at the end as well. So this is what the program, that schedule would look like. I'm sorry, we do not have our dates finalized for August 2023. That should happen, you know, really shortly, very soon, in the next week or two, and those will be posted on our website. But this is what it looks like. This is the schedule for the cohort that is actually happening right now, that started last August. So you can see how the 5 classes you know, build on each other. So the faculty work together really carefully to design and plan what belongs in each class and how to build on it in the, you know, the following classes. We have a very talented faculty. They're all practicing executive coaches. They're seasoned teachers of adult learners, because, you know, as we all know, adults learn differently. Some of us are thought leaders. We have a variety of backgrounds. You were asking about our backgrounds before. And some are master coach supervisors for our practicum. So I'll tell you now, as you asked, a little bit about each course. So if we get on the next slide, we have the first course, which is our really foundation course, theory, principles, and practice. This really lays the foundation. I'm the teacher, the instructor for that course. And you know, executive coaching draws from a variety of disciplines. So we will look at psychology, systems theory, adult learning theories, and we examine all these models and how they relate to coaching. We also look at the increasing importance of neuroscience research for the field of coaching, and very much also we look at culture. And we explore in depth what is the most important tool in coaching, and that is the use of self. We focus on self-development, self-awareness, and cultivating presence. This continues throughout the courses of the program. We feel that for students to be able to help clients make change, they have to experience what it feels like themselves. So our students learn coaching competencies, professional ethics, models of executive coaching, frameworks, and they start practicing basic coaching skills in this course. They then move to the second course taught by Perry Carrison, and that's our skills and techniques course. We also informally call it our coaching presence course. Perry has been working as a trusted advisor with senior executives for many, many years, from the World Bank to Discovery Channel to Takeda to Marriott. He's worked with a lot of organizations and clients. So this is very much a practice-oriented course that focuses on applying coaching skills. It continues to focus on gaining expertise in the coaching competencies that were started in the previous course. Ethically managing the coaching agenda, creating and maintaining relationship, communicating, all the conversation tools that go with coaching. And students are exposed to a variety of scenarios and based on real coaching experiences. And of course, they continue their work on use of self and cultivating their coaching presence. And then they move to our third course, where it becomes more focused on the executive coaching, the part of the program, with this course on assessments and the role of assessments in executive coaching. And this course is taught by Bill Hodges, who is now a full-time faculty member in the OLP department, and has retired recently from Fidelity Investments, where he was vice president of enterprise coaching. So there he was in charge of executive coaching, developmental assessments, and learning resources for senior executives company-wide. Bill is also a thought leader. His latest paper is on the need for agility in coaching. In this course, students are prepared to plan, implement, and/or evaluate the results of an assessment for an executive coaching intervention. So it introduces students to a variety of assessments and methods that are commonly used to try to understand leaders a little bit better and the system in which they operate. So, and you know, our students start to work on how to do structured interviews so that they can start creating narrative 360s for the practicums. So these 3 courses occur in the first semester of the program. We call them our 3 foundational courses. And then we move on to the second part of the program, which is in spring, and with the heavy focus on our executive coaching practicum. First, a little bit about Susan, who has over 30 years of experience in executive development. She has her own firm. Susan Ann is an associate and has always had an interest in social justice in the greater Boston area. So I'm telling you that because you'll see the focus of the practicum. So the GSEC program culminates with this practicum, where students will work with a manager, an executive leader, who's looking for professional development. We provide a client for our students. You don't have to go and find your client. We have a partnership with the Social Innovation Forum, and that is a nonprofit organization that helps nonprofit leaders in the greater Boston area who are implementing critical solution to social change. So we most often draw our clients from that pool of leaders. So in addition to providing training for our students, we're actually making a difference in the community, providing coaching to these leaders that could never, where their organization could never afford to hire a coach. And so we are really proud to be helping and making an impact on their community. Students conduct a full executive coaching from engagement, from the chemistry check to contracting to all the steps where they help a client, and then they help them transition to long-term development. In addition, the students will go to class on those weekends that I mentioned earlier. They will work with their client, but we also, and so they will be supervised, by their instructor, but they will also get individually, each student will get a master coach supervisor who's a seasoned professional really, who will mentor them throughout the engagement. So they will get this additional support when they are doing the practicum. So when they leave the program, they're fully equipped to conduct executive coaching engagement, whether in their own practice or within their organization. And finally, there's a shorter course that runs parallel with the practicum, and it's called the seminars, and it's really designed to support the students in their professional development as coaches. It supplements first semester coursework, and it provides a deeper exploration of some of the topics in the first 3 courses of the program that I described earlier, and some new topics that may be relevant to all aspects of coaching. So to give you an example, some of what because we're running this course right now, some topics we're covering has been mindfulness, the different definition from paying attention to having a mindfulness practice, and the importance of that for us as coaches, but also how to help our clients. We will work on immunity to change, strength-based coaching, positive psychology, emotional intelligence. We also often have guest speakers who come and share their experiences. So the objective really is to further the students' knowledge of this field of executive coaching, to deepen the practice by acquiring more tools, and to support the practicum work, and also to help students start to think about their next steps. So I think we have a couple of testimonials that we would like to share with you on the following slides. Oh, we have a question first. Okay.
Okay, great. So like the first poll that we had, this will just give us a sense of what you're thinking in terms of the next steps, if you're thinking of applying and starting the program soon, or if this is one of the first steps in your process and you're thinking of applying later. If you're not sure, again, totally fine. Just gives us a little better idea of who's in the audience today. So looks great, kind of split across the board. So again, no problem at all. Whatever your timeline is, we are here to help you at whatever stage of the process you're in. So I think we can move on to the next slide then.
Thank you for that. And yes, you know, you are, I think Sarah will mention it later as well, or Julia, you know, you are welcome to reach out. I'm always happy to talk with you. Sometimes, you know, I'll talk with someone and then 2 years later, they'll decide that it's the right time to start the program. So don't hesitate. I'm really happy to discuss and have a conversation with you. So I'll let you read this testimonial from Laura, who was in our program last year and who worked internally in an organization. And we may have another one, or I may be wrong. Yeah, and Bethany as well. Bethany works in HR. Also, Bethany was with us last year. And I think finally we may have a letter. Oh, the eligibility. Yeah, so finally, who is our program geared to? I think that question was asked before. Basically, our students are professionals who are established in their careers. They bring a high level of expertise to the cohort and the classroom. They take the program to build additional skills to enhance their careers or make a career change, some of what you had been mentioning earlier. So they come from a variety of backgrounds, so don't hesitate in terms of background. At this point, I think I will end my part, and thank you very much for your time and interest, and you know, reiterate that I would love to I would be very happy to chat with you. I always love to talk to people who are interested in the program with no pressure whatsoever. This is a graduation, actually a few years ago. So you can see this is how the year end, and it is a lot of fun at that point with our students becoming executive coaches. I think I'll hand it over to Julia. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia Ogden, and I am the admissions counselor who works the most closely with the graduate certificate and executive coaching program. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what the application process looks like. As Suzanne mentioned earlier in the presentation, the only prerequisite really for this program is to have a 4-year undergraduate degree and have been working in the field, whatever field that happens to be, for at least 5 years. So you do have professional work experience. In terms of the application, we have a completely online application. You would complete an essay, a resume, or CV. You would complete 1 letter of recommendation and send us your transcripts. And then there would be an interview as part of the acceptance into the program, and we do not require the GRE. So if you have taken the GRE, that's fine, but you do not need to submit any scores for the GRE. And we have a link right down at the bottom of the page. You know, when it is time to apply, it's really simple, and I am here to kind of help you through the whole process. So you'll see later on a contact information for the info at William James. So you're always welcome to reach out if you're having trouble with the application or have questions about the program. I know the admissions office is here to help. And I think now, if you have any more questions.
Yes, thank you, Julia, and thank you, Suzanne, for both of your presentations today. So we have some questions here already, but in our last few minutes, keep submitting the questions that you have, and we'll get through as many as we can. First one here for you, Suzanne, is what are possible future professions after taking this program?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question. Well, basically, you will be an executive coach, and you have a lot of options with that, sort of deciding what you want to do with it. You could start your own practice, and, you know, like some of us here have. If you're internal to an organization that may need your services and as an executive coach, there isn't anything, another profession, right? You are developing those skills to become an executive coach. You could work with team coaching, leadership development. There are a lot of possibilities, but basically, as you come out of our program, you will be qualified, and you'll get a diploma in executive coaching. I hope that answers the question. But I'm happy to explain more if you want. If you give me a little bit more details, I'll try.
Kind of in the same vein, for those who are looking to pursue a master's degree after completing this program, do any of the credits transfer over, or any of the coursework, that kind of thing?
Yes, at William James College, we have a master's in organizational psychology. I believe 9 credits or 6 credits from the executive, I think it's 6 credits from the executive coaching program will transfer to the master's program.
Right, and Julia is also the admissions counselor for that master's program as well. So if you do decide to pursue that, Julia can answer any more detailed questions about that program as well.
You would have to, yeah.
And then we have a few questions here asking for a little more detail about the practicum experience. How many hours is it? Could you talk a little bit about the types of organizations or experience that is involved with that?
Okay, so the practicum, it runs like a real coaching engagement, which is typically 6 months. We make it a little bit shorter because of the needs of the program. So what you will do, I mean, our organizations are organizations that do social justice work in the greater Boston area. They will deal with anything from food insecurity, to art, to poverty, to LGBTQ issues, to aging, to children, to education. All these, there's so many wonderful organizations doing amazing work, and so I think you would really enjoy that part. So what you will do is what we do in a real engagement. You will start with a chemistry check. So we will, we'll have you meet with your client, and if you feel the fit is right, and if your client feels the fit is right, you'll get started, and then you will do what we call stakeholder interviews. You'll try to collect information from stakeholders around the client, and then you'll do a feedback report, and then you'll move into coaching hours. So it is front loaded. There's a few hours in the beginning of the engagement, and then you will be meeting with your client once every 2 weeks. Of course, there's preparation for class. We usually typically say for the program in general, whether it's the practicum or the first courses, to count anything from 5 to 8 hours a week of work.
Okay, great. We have someone here asking about the alumni network as part of this program. In particular, this person is interested in career switching. So if there's a network of alumni that can help kind of with that process after completing the program.
The whole OLP department has an alumni alliance. It has been less active during the pandemic, but it is starting again. When you take our program, what will happen is you will connect with the coaching community. You'll start connecting with the coaching community, and that will help. And a lot of our alums stay in touch with us, so they will come back. So there is a bit of an informal networking situation that happens, yes.
Okay, great. And another question I think that we get a lot, especially for this program or other online programs, is could you talk a little bit about the cohort model and how connected students are to each other while going through the program?
Yes, I'm laughing because in this current cohort, we had somebody who had a baby in November, and so I mean the whole cohort has rallied about that person and their baby, and we've had celebrations and news about the baby constantly. So yeah, the cohorts they get very close, and I think the fact that we are on campus 2 days, a weekend, a full weekend, once a month for 8 months, they get to know each other really well. They work together, they coach each other, incredibly supportive of each other, and they really stay connected afterwards. It's just wonderful to see how our cohorts gel.
Great. And how big typically are the cohorts?
Currently, our cohort, the one we have now, is 10 students. Typically, they're anywhere between 8 and 14, I would say. We don't take cohorts that are greater than 15, right? So 15 tends to be our cutoff.
Okay, so it looks like we're coming up to the end of the time here. If we go to the next slide, this is, I believe, the contact information that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. So if you have any further questions or would like to talk more in depth with either Suzanne or Julia about your career goals and what you can get out of the program, any specific questions about the application, don't hesitate to reach out to either of the email addresses here on the slide. You can also connect with us on social media on any of the sites listed there as well. And there's a lot more information about the program and the college on our website. So definitely check out williamjames.edu as well. And lastly, I'll just reminder that you can download all of these slides in the handout section. So thank you both to Suzanne and Julia for presenting, and thank you to everyone who attended today's info session. We hope that this was helpful for you as you're making these next steps in your education and career.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah, very much. And please don't hesitate if you have, particular questions that apply to you. I'm happy to spend some time and, work through them with you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.